Who is the traitor in Tomodachi game? This is an anime-only theory, and spoilers for episode 1 and 2 of Tomodachi game in 3, 2, 1, let's go! We know it's not Yuichi for sure. I mean, he did not steal 2 million yen that was used for the entry fee at all. We know that 100%, but though everyone suspects him because he's the poorest. Initially, my thoughts immediately went to Makoto because he comes from a rich family, and who knows if times are tough for him. He might have been rich and he might be constantly flaunting that, oh, I can cover your bill for you if you need me to spot you some cash for this trip. But like, what if he's on some hard times and just saying that to try and keep the status quo, that he's the rich kid, but he's actually in desperate need of money because he's broke? But then seeing more of his personality in episode 2, I think he's more of the type of character who would try to ask his friends for help if he was in that period. It might have been embarrassing for him, but he would have been more open about it. After that, my suspicion went to Sawaragi. I mean, yes, she's the daughter of a police officer and she's strong on the ideal of justice and making sure people follow the rules, so it doesn't make sense that she would steal the 2 million yen, but she was the one in possession of it, taking care of it in her locker. And also, when everyone else received letters from Yuichi saying to meet up in front of the school, Yuichi got a letter from Sawaragi. On top of that, she just gives off some iffy, untrusting vibes. And in episode 2, once Yuichi realized someone's trying to give Yutari all the debt, he makes a move to prevent that from happening. And as such, I think that's why she made that pity move to try and get Yuichi to remove suspicion off her, and made a move saying that he actually saved her because she would have been because she had 7.6 million in debt compared to everyone else having the most, so she would have gotten all the money and all the debt, I mean. But that seems iffy to me because she should have had the same debt as everyone else at 3.6 million. Because look, firstly, if the debt did double, it would have gone from 4 million to 8 million. But then it landed on no, so it should have been halved to 4 million, and then minus the money won from the game makes it 3.6 million. So saying 7.6 million was definitely a lie, and I think Yuichi caught that. Only issue with her character is I do not know how she would have gotten 20 million yen in debt. Unless she went on huge shopping sprees. And there is a strong reason for her to want to sabotage Yutari, because Yutari seems to also have a crush on Yuichi, and to try and prevent that relationship from happening, she's trying to put all the debt on Yutari so that she seems unappealing to Yuichi because he's already broke as hell. So as of right now, Sawaragi is my main suspect, but it seems that love is going to be a main theme behind the traitor's motives. Moving on, we have Mikasa Tenji. He's an absolute genius, and he's Sawaragi's ex-fake boyfriend, though he had real feelings for her and she never reciprocated them. He seems like a genius who could have planned this entire thing to put all the debt on one of his friends so he could get away with it. And he does give off that intimidating vibe that he would do something like that, especially once Sawaragi shows that she likes Yuichi. And seeing what happens in the second game, it's easily presumable that he was the one who made the first move. The biggest issue here is that he seems like he's a top-level communicator, he's a negotiator, and no one would ever badmouth him. And on top of that, it doesn't seem like he has a motive. So we ended off the last video talking about Mikasa Tenji and seeing that he's a great communicator and that he's at the top of his class as a genius and no one ever badmouths him. You'd think he's close with his friends and that if he was in this type of problem, he would have communicated it clearly with his friends and tried to come up with a solution with them instead of putting them in this situation. Though based off what we've seen on his personality, he does seem like kind of a jerk. I mean, it does seem like he knows that Sawaragi likes Yuichi even though he likes her. And he does know that Makoto likes Sawaragi because he makes that obvious, constantly asking her out, trying to kiss her, and she keeps rejecting him, so he doesn't see him as a threat. Though Mikasa still lacks a motive because since he's a genius, he probably realizes that Sawaragi doesn't like Yuichi because of his money or anything, because he's broke, and if she's still liking him because of that, putting him in more debt isn't going to change anything. He literally lacks a motive in my opinion, and that's why he's not a major suspect for me and he's more sidelined for me, though the way his personality is and the way he's behaving is kind of leading me to keep him still around as a minor suspect. And we finally get to our last character, Kokorogi Yutori. She seems like a shy, nice girl who likes anime and gets bullied. And she's also considered the sexy character. And she really does give off vibes, acting like another character from another anime where it's like she dresses up to try and get guys' attentions to get multiple guys to like her. And if we're being honest, it seems like she's jealous of Sawaragi with her getting a ton of guys to like her and not many guys actually crushing on her. And she probably gets bullied for the way she's trying to get guys to fall in love with her. And seeing how Yuichi is probably the only one that actually treats her like a friend, like we've seen in the flashbacks, it feels like she doesn't want to lose him and she actually wants to date him and get him to like her. But she's worried that he might fall in love with Sawaragi after she is getting all the guys. And seeing how she's a really shy character, it does give off the vibes that she might actually be the one who did this. She might know how this game works. She might be the one running this game in the background, just like I thought Mikasa Tenji might be the one running this game in the background, though she has more of a motive. And she might have gotten the game set up for her to be the 5th to try and get the debt put on her, to try and raise suspicion on her, because why would she try to sabotage herself? But she trusted that Yuichi would save her, and then she's low-key trying to get the debt placed on Sakuragi to make her unappealing, because why would Yuichi like her if she's broke? Because he's broke as well, though she might be underestimating Yuichi on that, because he cares more of his friends than money. And the key theme here seems to be love, with everyone acting on love, though Shiba seems like the only one who might not be acting on love, and kind of erases his category of suspicion because he didn't even know Sakuragi liked Yuichi. So as of right now, the girls are my main suspects, with it more leading towards Sakuragi than Yutori, though Yutori still has a good chance to be the traitor. And the final idea I have is that there is no debt at all, and it's just an experiment where they put this idea in their head so they think one of their friends is the traitor, trying to break their friendship up, all for their little experiment that they're running in the background. That would be a wild twist, though I still think there is a traitor and they're the ones running this entire show.